And we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the final part of the show, we're going to go through the standings in both conferences. And that'll pretty much be it for the show today. So we'll start off with the AFC. So after week 12, the Dolphins, they picked up a game on the Bills. So now they're 8-3 on the season. The Bills are 6-6. The Jets 4-7, as they've now lost 4 in a row. The Patriots are 2-9. Yeah, I mean the division. 5 years ago, you tell me that the Patriots are going to be 2-9 in the last place. I mean, I would never believe you, but that's the reality we are living in right now. The Patriots are no longer a good football team. The point differential, 148 to 248. Yeesh, that is, I mean, that's terrible. And last year, I mean, we thought I thought that was going to be the year, and then they went 8-9. So I was like, all right, well, I guess the Patriots are just going to be that team that just they're going to be in it till the end and just fall short. But that's not the case this year. I mean, everything just fell apart, and they're going to be in the market for a new quarterback, definitely. Then you go to the AFC North. You got the Ravens at 9-3, the Browns and the Steelers both 7-4, and the Bengals, of course, at 5-6. Just really stinks for the Bengals just because, they started to really put it together with Burrow getting healthier, and then he, of course, got hurt again and out for the year. They're actually 0-4 in the division this year. That's crazy. And it's probably going to end up being 0-6. Well, I mean, they could maybe beat the Browns with the Browns quarterback situation, but yeah, not good. Not good. And then you go over to the AFC South, so the Jags winning against the Texans was so important for them because if they don't, Texans would have been in first place. But they did win. They improved to 8-3 on the season, and they are 2 games up on both the Colts and the Texans. So they just got to keep winning games. In the AFC West, of course, the Chiefs are 8-3. Broncos are 6-5. Raiders 5-7. Chargers 4-7. Like I said, if the Broncos would have won those first 2 games at the beginning of the season, they'd be tied with the Chiefs right now. But unfortunately, that is not the case, so they're going to have to try to get the wild card. 'Cause, the Chiefs, I think, still win the division, of course. Although, listen, they did beat the Raiders. They looked better, but again, I got to see more from them, offensively at least. Then we go to the NFC. Eagles are 10-1. I don't think Dallas is going to catch them. Dallas is at 8-3. They're 2 games back. They do play them one more time, but I think I think the Eagles they take the division. And then you got the Commanders and the Giants at 4-8. Then in the NFC North, Lions are 8-3, 2.5 games up on the Vikings. The Vikings, they could have picked up a game on them, but they unfortunately lost their game on Thanksgiving against the Packers. That's not what I meant to say. They lost their game against the Bears yesterday. Lions lost to the Packers on Thanksgiving. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, they could have picked up a game on them, but they didn't. You got the Bears at 4-8, Packers 5-6. Lions, I think, still win the division. But these other teams, they'll be looking for trying to get in through the wild card. The Bears are at 4-8, but I don't. They're not going to make a run at it. Then we get to our favorite division in the NFL, the NFC South. Falcons 5-6, Saints 5-6, Bucks are 4-7. I don't know who is going to win this division. I mean, the Saints, that should be the team that does, but they are just like they're a mess. I mean, Derek Carr's turning the ball over. They're driving. Taysom Hill fumbles. And the Falcons, I mean, Desmond Ridder, he's still turning the ball over. The question marks at quarterback. I mean, that's a team that needs a quarterback, is the Falcons. And then you got the Bucks, who at one point they were 3-1 on the season, and they're 4-7 now. Because if you go back to when I came out with that video, so I came out with it at about. Well, I'll say in October. It was in October. It was before the game against the Lions. Since then, They've gone 1-6, and they've lost some tough games. I mean, you lose to the Falcons by 3. You lost to the Texans by 2. That game you should have won, but C.J. Stroud's late heroics prevented you from that. You lost to the Colts by 7. Yeah, I mean, they've been struggling. I mean, and listen, with this division, they still got a chance, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got the Panthers coming up. I think they should win that game at the Falcons, at the Packers, home against the Jags, home against the Saints, at Carolina. I mean, I think maybe they get to 7 wins, maybe. I think they finish maybe 7-10. It's kind of how I'm looking at their schedule. But I don't know. Maybe, they wake up and they could somehow, win this division. But I don't see it. It's either going to be the Falcons and the Saints right now. Then you go to the NFC West. Got the Niners at 8-3, Seattle 6-5, Rams 5-6, and the Cardinals are 2-10. 49ers, that's their division. So then you look at the the current seeding. So right now the Ravens are the 1, the Chiefs are the 2, Jags 3, Dolphins 4. But it's so close it could change instantly. The Ravens are a half game up on everybody else, but it can all change. I mean, the Ravens got a bye week now, so all these teams can gain a half a game on them if they win. In the wild card, you have the Steelers, the Browns, and the Colts currently holding the 3 wild card spots. I don't think the Colts are going to hold it. So it's either going to be the Texans, the Broncos, or the Bills that is going to get that spot from the Colts. And right now the Broncos hold the tiebreaker over the Bills because they just beat them. And if the Bills would have won that game, they'd be in a better spot. They'd be in the playoffs right now. Yeah, I mean, I saw an Instagram post. Or an Instagram post or a TikTok, but it's going to be crazy how we could possibly see no Burrow, no Herbert, and no Allen in the playoffs this year. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping we get at least Josh Allen back in the playoffs. Because, I mean, you get the Bills in as a 7th seed. Nobody is going to want to play them. Nobody. And the offense has looked better the last 2 weeks. Again, they turned the ball over, but, Josh Allen played a very good game on Sunday against the Eagles. But yeah, they got a really tough schedule coming up. They got the Chiefs, they got the Cowboys, they got the Chargers. They're home against the Patriots, and then they're at the Dolphins. I mean, they could possibly finish 8-9. You know what? I will say, I think they beat the Chiefs. I think they beat the Chiefs in a couple weeks. So then, with me saying that, go ahead and take the Chiefs. But listen. I know the playoff game they lost. They lost. That epic divisional matchup. The final score was 42-36, I think. But in the regular season, they've won the last 2 matchups. So, I'm going to say that, because it's of how big of a game it is and how the Chiefs' offense has been struggling. I mean, these teams know each other well. Right now, I mean, I got to see what the spread is and all that, but I would take the Bills to win that game. But we'll see. They got a lot of tough games coming up on their schedule, though, so it's gonna be tough for them to get in. But I could see them beating the Chargers, the Patriots. The Dolphins is going to be a tough game. I mean, you really are going to have to win. I mean, you are going to have to win out, which I don't think is going to happen because I think the Cowboys game at home is going to be a really tough game. I don't know if they're going to win that. But could they run the table? Absolutely. If Josh Allen could play like he did on Sunday without turning the ball over, the Bills could definitely run the table. But we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I think it's really just between. So right now you got the Colts, the Texans, the Broncos, and the Bills. I think those are the teams that are going to be fighting for those spots. The Bengals without Burrow, the Raiders, The Chargers just continue to sink. Look at where the Jets are now. I know I did a video or a segment a while back, just like, can the Jets make the playoffs? But it's not going to happen because the offense has just been horrendous lately. And it's crazy how the Eagles' only loss is to the Jets. How is that possible? They should be undefeated right now. But that's the NFL for you. Then in the NFC, you got the Eagles, the Niners, the Lions, and the Falcons. You have the Cowboys as the 5th seed, the Seahawks as the 6th seed, the Vikings as the 7th seed. You got the Packers, the Rams, the Saints, the Bucks. If you want to count the Bears, the Giants, and the Commanders at 4 and 8, I'm not. I think it's going to come down to. Now you got the Rams back in the conversation. They've won 2 in a row now. Kyron Williams. I keep saying Karen. I think it's Kyron Williams. I don't know. It's one of the two. But he had a great game on Sunday. His first game back coming off of IR. So now the Rams are back in the conversation. The Packers play the Vikings twice. So that could really dictate, whether or not, one of these teams makes the playoffs or not. Seattle's been struggling as of late. And now they play the Cowboys. So they might find themselves at 6 and 6. So this is a prime opportunity for, the Packers and the Rams. They could pick up a game on these two teams. Because, early on I was like, it looks like Seattle's probably going to get in. But they got the Cowboys at the 49ers, home against the Eagles. They could lose 3 games in a row. Because those are the top 3 teams in the NFC. And then the schedule gets soft at the end. You got at the Titans, home against the Steelers. But the Steelers got a good defense. And then you're at the Cardinals with Kyler. So I don't know. Seattle, they got to be careful because they might find themselves out. If they continue to head in this direction. But I really don't think any NFC South team is getting it. I just don't trust the Saints. I don't think the Rams and the Packers are great, but, they've been playing better. The Rams have the Browns, though, and they could win that game, but it's going to be a struggle just because of the defense. Browns quarterback situation is, a mess. But then they're at the Ravens. Then you're home against the Commanders, which you can win. Home against the Saints, which you could win. At the Giants, you should win that game. And then it might have to come down to, having to beat the 49ers on the road. So, which is something they haven't done the last couple of years. So, we'll see. It's been more than a couple. It's been like a few. It's been several years. When's the last time the Rams won in San Francisco? I think it was. Was it 2018? Yeah, it was probably 2018 because that was before, they drafted Bosa and, Garoppolo got hurt that year. Before Deebo Samuel, too. I think it was 2018 was the last time because then 2019 they lost, 2020 they lost. Yeah, and then the last 2 games in San Francisco were Monday night games, I think. Right? I think so. Yeah. It hasn't been good. With that, though, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, and obviously look out for the shorts that are coming out later today. I also reposted yesterday's show as well. That's up. It's broken up into 4 parts. So in case you missed anything, it's all right there. So until then, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.